Happy New Year, wrestling fans! Welcome to episode 25 of WWPWW, first episode of 2017. Woo! Jeremy, how's things?
Oh, things are great. New year, new time of wrestling. Started off the year by watching probably what will be the match of the year, Okada versus Rain Bros.
Kenny Omega.
Kenny Omega. Okada versus Omega. Beautiful match. I'm surprised they're both standing, but it's a good way to start off the new year to watch a really good match. And so I could see New Japan looking at WWE saying, "Come at me, bro."
Yeah.
I don't know how anybody can top that match. It was a great match.
Yeah.
All around.
It was. WWE. I was just like, they'll put out some great matches that could rival it, but I don't think they'll put out anything that could top it because it was really, really good. And for 46 minutes, it was not bored. Like it was not boring. Really, really. Really packed a punch. Very, very good. That table, it just, ouch. Just, it was really, really, really good. And I actually have a really good New Japan Pro Wrestling match on my list. Because we are going to be doing today, Jeremy, what are we doing?
Top 10 matches of 2016 with some honorable mentions. Because there were some really good matches this year. This past year. Really well done. So
there were. We were going to get to that in a little bit. We're going to do our Raw and SmackDown recaps first, and then we're going to jump right into our top 10 matches of the year. And these are just, the matches we thought were the best and some of our favorite. We're not claiming we know everything about wrestling or that we are experts here. We're just saying, these are the matches we most enjoyed. And no, we don't have any TNA, Ring of Honor, PWG,
yeah, not a whole lot of that.
So if you're just like, oh, hey, what about this, and this, and this at, the TNA Lockdown pay-per-view or what, I don't know. Who are we kidding? Nobody listens to this.
But they will. Eventually they will.
Eventually they will. And because my goal is to somehow get this to Chris Jericho. And then have him be a guest on our podcast.
That's right.
Should be sweet. But so yeah, I have one or two curveballs, Jeremy, on my top 10 list. That'll be interesting.
Mine's pretty straightforward. I mean, some of the matches on my top 10 list are a lot higher on other people's lists, but I don't care. I enjoyed. It was a really good wrestling year. I enjoyed a lot of stuff. And so I can't wait to talk about that. But you're right. We should move into the Raw and SmackDown recap.
All right. Let's get to it.
All right. Talking about Raw first off. Was there anything that stood out in your mind about Raw that made it special for you, made it good for you?
Yes, there was, because I thought for the first Raw of the new year that I actually didn't have much, if any, problems with this, to tell you the truth. As I was watching it, and as I'm sitting here now, I was like, there really wasn't a whole lot wrong with it. That's just my opinion. I don't know how other people have felt about it, but, I, for one, thought that this Raw was pretty darn good. I was just like, man, it's pretty sweet. There was a lot of good stuff that they did. Sami Zayn and Braun Strowman, it seems like their thing is kind of ended, it seems.
I think so, too. I don't know what they're going to do with Sami, but it looks like Braun's pretty much thrown into a title position.
It really seems that way. And man, I had some stuff in my head that I was gonna say before I got to the big thing, but
Raw. Raw wasn't bad. I think most people's problems with Raw is that we've seen the same old matches over and over again, and I understand that. But when they're good matches, and when you basically, the reality is we're in a stall type mode right now because Royal Rumble's a couple weeks away, and
seems like they're saving their trump cards for that.
Yeah, they're building to Royal Rumble, not WrestleMania, and they're building WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Too. Let's get that as well. But this being the first episode of Raw of 2017, it wasn't bad, but like I keep saying, they're holding their cards close to the vest. I think this was a safe Raw for them
Hmm.
for 2017. Something to start off saying we are working towards some really awesome stuff. Goldberg has signed 3 pay-per-views. He's going to be at Royal Rumble, he's going to be at Fastlane, and he's going to be at WrestleMania.
Cool.
And so the end of the night was the best thing.
Dude.
I know Vince McMahon loves the big men, big sweaty men, big sweaty hairy men type thing. But the reality is, the 3 people at the end of the night, I want to see that triple threat.
That would be sick, dude. That would be sick.
I just think that would be best for business.
Yeah.
It would be amazing because if you do a triple threat, both Braun and Goldberg don't have to do a crazy amount of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it got me excited to see any of those kind of combinations, and to see what happens at one of those pay-per-views.
For sure. The last half 20 minutes, half hour or whatever. I think it was just like the last 20 minutes or so of Raw. I had like chills the whole time. I was like geeking out hardcore. For Chris Jericho and KO start out doing the Kevin Owens show because they're doing this whole, everybody gets a talk show thing for like at least 1 week or out of several months or whatever. Which I don't mind. It's kind of funny, so I don't really care. But they start out there. They're doing some funny stuff, and really like that. And then they have Goldberg as their guest. Goldberg comes out and he looks right at KO and he says, what does he say? He goes, "Oh yeah, I don't care if it's you or Roman Reigns, but we're gonna have a date at WrestleMania." And then Roman's music plays, and then he walks to the ring hardcore like a boss, and then hardly said anything. Like it almost feels like he's like that seemed genuine. Like I don't know if that was one of the writers who did that or if he just was like, let me just say something cool, like short and sweet, And it was short, sweet, to the point, and it was really, really cool. Where he's just like, you guys aren't winning anything at the Royal Rumble, which brings me to you. And he drops the mic and just stares down Goldberg, and I was just like, oh, like I just got chills when that happened. And the crowd was yes, 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 yes. He just like, which brings me to you. And then just they stared each other down, and I just was like, holy crap.
Yeah, I totally agree. I thought Roman's timing was a tad off because it looked weird, but once he locked eyes, like you said, once he locked eyes with Goldberg, it's like, I want to see this. I want to see this match. And it sounds like WrestleMania, like they've pretty much scrapped their plans for WrestleMania.
Oh, really?
They don't know what they're going to do right now.
Oh.
And I think this past Monday night is both an indicator of that, because I would have never thought. I think part of it was they were waiting for Goldberg to sign what he signed. He is going through WrestleMania. We will see him at least at 3 pay-per-views and sometime on Raw. I think they want to. I think Vince is so high on Roman Reigns right now, like he has been for the last 3 years or whatever. I think putting him against Goldberg is what he wants. And I think for 2 things. 1, to put the nail in the coffin of WCW. And 2, to make Roman over. Because Goldberg beat Lesnar. If Roman goes in there and beats Goldberg, then he is essentially, in all intents and purposes, he's the guy. He is the guy that should have all of the belts to do in theory. And so I think that's what they're setting up. And I think with Braun coming in, I think that's foreshadowing that eventually, probably not by the end of the year, maybe by the end of the year, Braun might be some kind of champion.
Yeah, because it seems like they kind of want Braun and Roman in a program together.
Yeah.
It really seems like they do. And, I would be cool, like, for them to do it at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like Braun Strowman, like, I don't know.
I agree. No, I agree.
I had an idea, and then it just escaped me, but about with Braun and Roman. But, like, it seems like they want to put them in a program together, because I think, I think it could be, it would feel epic. The match wouldn't be like this. It wouldn't be like Okada and Omega, or, or like Reigns and Styles or anything like that. But, I think that it would, it would be a brawl. It would be a slugfest. I think they could do some really hard-hitting stuff.
Yep.
Spears and barricades, power bombs on onto the announce table. They could do all kinds of awesome stuff, and I think that they really want that. And actually, Roman Reigns put on a really, really good match with the Big Show at Extreme Rules 2 years ago, which is a sentence. It's actually really, really good. So it's like, so he can work really well with really, really big guys and stuff. And Braun's a bit more mobile and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Surprisingly so. But it seems like they really, really want that. But yeah, I don't know if they're just teasing us with this whole Goldberg thing, or what the deal is. But I'm just excited for whatever it is. But spot of the night, the biggest thing that ever happened. Start off the show with when Braun came in, stood right in front of Goldberg and Roman. Goldberg and Roman looked at each other, and I was like, they're going to double spear him. They're going to double spear him. No, they did it! Like,
it was a good spear.
It was great.
It was a really good spear.
I freaked out. Dude, like, my dad was like, what are you, like, Caleb, what are you doing? I was just like, shut up, Dad, I'm watching wrestling. Dad, Goldberg and Roman Reigns just did a double spear. You don't get it, okay? Although my dad, the other day, weird story, it was just like, yeah, some of my friends from high school were into wrestling back in, like, the late 70s, like, that was back in the day of, like, Ric Flair and Vern Gagne and the Von Erichs, and I was like, wow, Dad just name dropped, like, Vern Gagne and the Von Erichs and, like, people who I hardly even know about. Like, I know about, but hardly, and Dad just name dropped that. And I was like, wow, you surprise me every so often, Dad. Anywho.
Yeah, it was a great spot. You're right, it was the spot of the night. I think one of the most interesting things about this segment was, and I don't know what Vince's idea is, but it kind of seems like maybe he's soured on Brock, because what they did with Paul came out.
Oh yeah, I forgot Paul Heyman came out. Yeah.
After all these other people, he cowered, and it was kind of like, I don't want to see Brock anymore. After seeing the 3 that we saw in the ring, I don't want to see Brock in this equation. I wouldn't mind seeing Samoa Joe. Bring Samoa Joe up. I want to, like we've already said, we want to see AJ and Samoa Joe in some kind of program, which I think will happen. I would love to see Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, and AJ in a match. Love to see that. I think that would be a match of the year candidate for sure. But yeah, I don't care about Brock Lesnar anymore. He needs to go away, and we need to focus on what has been built at the end of this at the end of the show. And there's not a whole lot about the rest of the show. There were some kind of important things. The women's, the number 1 contender, Bayley, is the number 1 contender for the women's championship, which sounds like they're going to build and possibly Bayley winning it at WrestleMania. Obviously not Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
It's too soon for that.
Yeah, I think they hold off. They should hold off on that in WrestleMania too. I think, since Charlotte, she was the Divas champ going into WrestleMania, and she won the inaugural women's championship at WrestleMania. So I think that'd be a good transition. Let it come full circle and let Bayley win at WrestleMania. I think that would be, because she's building up the Queen of Pay-Per-View and stuff like that. She'll probably, I don't know if they're going to do, are they going to have a match at Royal Rumble, Bayley and Charlotte?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah. So Charlotte will win that, and then at Fastlane, I don't know if they'll have a rematch there. She'll probably win again, and then Bayley will probably win it at Mania.
The thing that sucks is we'll probably have Charlotte and Sasha again at Fastlane.
I don't know. Never that. No.
What it should be is Sasha and Bayley. I know they're both baby faces, but it would be an interesting time to, turn Sasha heel.
Or what they should do is have a women's Royal Rumble. Yeah. Like have like a 20 woman Royal Rumble.
And
at the Royal Rumble.
And because it's not a technical type match, they have tons of NXT talent right now that they could just bring up for it.
Yeah.
And just for the Royal Rumble. But they're not going to do that.
They're not going to do that, no.
They need to.
They need to, yeah. But the match between Nia Jax and Bayley for the number 1 contendership, when she did the Bayley to belly suplex off the middle rope, that was really well done. They both did a really good job at that, man.
Yeah, I agree. I was never a Nia Jax fan. Her character, I don't really care for. I like her. She's funny. I've watched some stuff with her, but I don't. She's sloppy. She's sloppy in the ring. I didn't like when in NXT. I didn't like their program together, her and Bayley's program together, because she was just sloppy, and she broke Bayley in NXT. Like she hurt she hurt Bailey pretty bad. And so when I was watching this match, I'm like, there were several shots. I'm like, you're gonna hurt Bailey if you keep doing this. And so, anyway, that's a good point about that. That was a great spot there. But I don't know. Is there anything else about Raw that you wanted to talk about?
There was, but for the life of me, I can't. Oh yeah, the the Titus O'Neil wanting to join the New Day thing. I actually thought that was funny. I actually enjoyed that. I know a lot of people had some problems with it, and some people actually thought that it was kind of funny and stuff. You know, I thought it was funny. Like I really did.
I agree.
And you know, like that should be a thing with like other superstars. Like it should be like a weekly thing where every single week somebody else comes out and wants to join the New Day. Like
Yeah,
that would be hilarious. Like I don't know, like do something silly like Bo Dallas comes out. He wants to join the New Day.
That's funny because that's exactly who I thought. Because I thought the same thing that you did. I'm like, it'd be really funny and not go like crazy long, but maybe 3 to 4 times this happens.
Yeah.
But Bo Dallas was the second person,
really?
Or the first person in my mind. That's really funny.
I was like, cause it was really funny. You know, I was like, oh, Titus O'Neil, that was really good. They should do that with other people. Like, you know, do it with Bo Dallas, and maybe Enzo, just like you know, as a joke does it or something like that. You know, or I don't know. But yeah, I thought it was funny, and so I kind of had that funny idea.
It'd be a good idea, especially to get something for New Day to do for now. Because I hope, I didn't get to watch the Cesaro Anderson match.
It was really good. It was really good.
It was really good. I heard it was a fun match to watch. Even though I don't want them to take the titles off of them right now, they need to start building I'm just going to call them the club because that's what they are. They need to start building the club back up.
Yeah.
Especially since
they ruined them.
They
need to fix them.
Yeah. And they have gold right there, and they just choose not to use it. They choose to.
Yeah.
Vince chooses to be a jerk about the situation. It's like, come on, man, you got gold here. People around the world love these two guys. Yeah. Let them be what they can be. And I don't know if it's just like a slow build in his mind or what, but AJ's over. Let them be over. Bring some more people over. Spend the money. Get Omega. You know, so many different things that they could be doing, and they're not doing. They're building talent in the NXT, which is good, but anyway. Sorry.
No. We need it. Vince needs to hear that.
Yeah, Vince.
Quit being a big dumb dummy. Trying to think of anything else.
There wasn't anything else on Raw. I mean,
there really wasn't. Trying to think.
The matches were okay. Stuff we've seen before. Dialogue was really, really good in most of the stuff. I love Mick Foley. You know what? I hope it wasn't a screw up to say that he wanted to ban Chris Jericho from the match, because that was funny.
It was like it could have been it could have been a joke.
It could have been.
You know, but who knows?
Since he started off with, since last week I messed up the town. I wrote Tampa on my hand. We're in Jacksonville. Tampa.
Yeah, that was good.
That was funny.
But yeah, and I really liked that too, where he's just like, oh, maybe we should just go ahead and ban Chris Jericho. And then I showed you that meme of Jericho with like that confused look on his face, and it's like, that face you make when Mick Foley tries to ban you from ringside from your own match.
Yeah.
And it was just like, yeah, and then the way Kevin Owen reacted to it, like he reacted to it well, like he like really played up to it. Where he was like, Chris Jericho's already in the match, Mick.
And I was like, that's funny.
I was like, that's hilarious.
That was the only thing about Raw. The only two things about Raw, a couple things about Raw. Like I said, Hulu doesn't show everything, and so that's pretty much all of it.
Yeah.
All that I got.
Jericho and Reigns had a match, right? Yeah. And that match was pretty decent. And if there's a way you could find the Cesaro versus Carl Anderson match, that one was pretty good. Pretty good as far as TV matches go. Those two were pretty decent. And like I've said, I've said this in the past before. Like I'm glad, because leading up to SummerSlam, I think it was the go home show for SummerSlam on Raw. They had Roman Reigns and Rusev in a match that was like really, really awesome. And you and I were both like, man, that was a great match, especially for TV. It's like, they should have saved this match for SummerSlam. But then at SummerSlam, they just did the thing where they fought for a minute at ringside, and then it was like the match didn't officially happen because they just beat each other up before the match started. And it was just like a couple minutes, and they're like, oh no. So, I just lost my train of thought. Sorry. And I was just like, man, that match was so good. Oh man, it's gonna be hard to top that at SummerSlam. And then, I was just like, that match was so good, dude. And then several weeks before that, there was the Roman Reigns Finn Balor match for the Universal Championship match at SummerSlam. That match was really, really good. And then we had two four-way matches on that same Raw that were really, really good. And we're just like, man, they're giving us really, really good matches on TV for free. So, I'm glad that because it seems like for a while they kind of got in the mode before the brand split of, the matches on TV are just eh.
Yep.
You have to sign up for the network, or whatever, and to watch the really good matches. So it's good that every so often they're putting on really good stuff on TV. So, but anyways, I want to go ahead and
talk about SmackDown Live.
All right.
The best programming that they're putting out outside of, even NXT. It's better than NXT right now. SmackDown Live has been really solid the last couple of weeks. What did you think about this episode?
I came out of Raw and I was just like, dang, that Raw was pretty good, dude. Especially like the ending part, they really, really did a great job with everything. Like, holy crap, like, oh man, so good. Man, I hope that SmackDown can really match it. Dude, SmackDown, I don't know what it is, but it just is better all the time. Even when Raw is on its A game, as Raw was this past week, I was just like, dang, SmackDown just did it again, just topped. And they actually beat SmackDown, or they actually beat Raw in the ratings last week, I think, right?
They didn't this week, but they did this past week.
Yeah. And so I was like, good, they're actually getting some vindication.
Yeah.
That they're much better. So, yeah, it was just really, really good.
It was really well done. Miz and Maurice can do no wrong in my eyes. Him getting up and saying, I'm gonna be more forgiving. And so I want Renee to come out and apologize to me. It's like, okay, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, that was good.
And then Dean Ambrose comes out and Maurice smacks Dean, and so that leads to the fact that them having a match for the Intercontinental Championship, which I didn't see coming. I saw the match coming, but I didn't see the outcome coming. What did you think of that match? What did you think of the outcome?
Yeah. Well, first off, at the beginning when they were in the ring and then Dean came out and Maurice smacked him, the part where he picked up the mic and he's like, well, Miz, my work is already done for tonight because she hits way harder than you do.
Yeah, that was funny.
Like, that was great. And so I was like, oh, that was great. And I was like, the match is going to be good. Because, both these guys are really good in the ring and have put on some really decent matches. And so I was like, all right, man, let's go. I bet the match will be really good. And it was the last one. It was the main event. So that's good. The Intercontinental Championship, match on TV was the main event. So that's really good. And the fact that Dean Ambrose, a guy who was holding the world title earlier this year, is was going after it, is helping to make it feel even bigger. Because the Miz, has done a good job, and Dolph Ziggler going after it with him has done a good job at raising it. Now Dean Ambrose is doing a great job of raising it even higher also. And so I've really, really enjoyed it. This sort of building up of the Intercontinental Championship, I think it's a great idea. But yeah, the match was really, really good. Once again, like I was saying, great match, free on TV. And the outcome, Dean Ambrose won the Intercontinental Championship on TV. Like, I didn't see that coming.
It's really, really crazy. And I don't know if they're going to play it up next week. Because the WWE has had this thing where something happens during a match, and then the next week it's like, oh, this thing happened in the match, so we've reversed the decision, like with the whole Bayley and Charlotte, her arm being up, and so now we get this possibility I can see coming that next week the match will be thrown out because Maurice almost interfered or did interfere. I think she did.
Yeah, she did actually smack him, and the referee was gonna
saw him. It was going to throw it out, and Dean was like, no, don't do that, and eventually, she gets kicked out, and so I have a feeling that we're going to get a reversal of some sort next week. Them saying, well, Maurice interfered in the match, so we're reversing the thing. Miz, you're the champion. I foresee that coming, or just having a rematch next week.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I could see them. Yeah, I could see them doing that too, reversing it and then having a match on pay-per-view, like at the Rumble or at Elimination Chamber, something like that. But yeah, I totally didn't see that. Yeah, I totally didn't think of that until you just said that. But regardless, I don't care because it'll be a good. I'm sure the match will still be good. So
yeah, it'll be a good series of matches, and the IC title is that title that will be great at the Elimination Chamber match. It just will be, and so I can't wait. Can't wait to see that. If that happens, it's a little ways away. There's a couple other things I want to talk about SmackDown Live, unless you want to talk more about.
No, go ahead.
So I called it. Dolph Ziggler has become a heel that hates everybody.
Yeah.
And which I liked. This match was pretty good.
Yeah.
Again, Baron continues to improve, continues to show how good he can be. But Kalisto coming out, it's like, okay, maybe Kalisto and Baron Corbin isn't over quite yet.
But thankfully, it seems like it is.
Yeah. And so Kalisto comes out, interferes after the match to stop Baron Corbin from beating up Dolph Ziggler, and Dolph turns on him with a super kick. And it's like, yeah, that's exactly what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And then later, he's tearing things apart in the locker room, and he starts beating up Apollo Crews, and it's like, I said that last week. I said that Dolph Ziggler should just turn heel and just destroy everybody, because it would be fun. It would be a different move.
Yeah, it was.
What did you think of the match and what happened with Dolph?
The match was really good. I was kind of like, oh, we've seen this movie before. These guys had three matches like on 3 straight pay-per-views, but it was all par for the course. It was all part of the plan. It was just seemingly just one more match between these guys to get to this point.
Mm-hmm.
And when he super kicked Kalisto and kind of just being like, oh, he's turning heel, and stuff like that. The crowd was chanting yes, 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 and going nuts. Because, I always say he's like the new Shawn Michaels, and whenever Shawn Michaels would turn heel, it's just people would never boo Shawn Michaels. So when he turned heel, no matter who it was against, people still was like, yeah, and yeah, so I was just like, wow, he just clobbered, him with the super kick. He's like, I don't need you, I don't need anybody, stuff like that, and the crowd was going nuts. Then he went backstage, and yeah, I was just. He just came in, he just started throwing, and he broke one of the lockers, like a piece of wood broke off one of the lockers.
I missed that part.
So and then he called Apollo Crews a mark.
He did. He said Mark, and I was like, I wonder, because I meant to check that out to see if that's his real name.
Yeah, because he real named The Miz.
Yeah.
Earlier in the year, when they were before their match at No Mercy, where he's like,
yeah, no, that's not his real name.
That's not his real name.
But you're right. So
he called him a mark. Yeah.
I forget he's of foreign. I can't remember where he's at. His parents are actually from. But his name.
Apollo Crews.
Yeah, his real name I can't even pronounce. It's Sasuga Uha. His parents are from a different country. Is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
And I think it's a good thing that he's in the United States. I think there were some things going on in the country. But anyway, yeah, he called him Mark. So let's just say that he called him a Mark.
He called him a Mark. Funny. Yeah, I was just like I actually rewound it. I was like, wait, did he just real name him, or did he just call him a Mark? And I was like, rewound it, and I was like, no, he just called him a Mark.
Unless he thought it was Mark Henry.
That's awesome. Yeah, Dolph Ziggler, you're racist, buddy. Slander. No, it's just a joke. But yeah, I thought that was hilarious. I was like, once again, blurring the lines of kayfabe and reality, like they've been doing on Talking Smack and whatnot. Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. I'm really interested to see where they go from here.
Yeah, I agree.
With a Dolph Ziggler heel turn, or Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, Dolph Ziggler.
As JBL says. Yeah. Speaking of JBL, I thought the sign was hilarious. At Raw, I think it was, that said it's John o'clock somewhere.
I thought it was funny too.
That was great.
King Ross didn't understand it, but in our culture, we understand what that means. It's it's John Clock somewhere.
Yeah.
It just makes sense.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it was funny.
But yeah, so I'm really interested to see where his heel turn goes. With it seems as though it's going to be with Apollo Crews for now. It seems like they're at least teasing that. So I don't know what's going on there. It seems like that's going to be his feud for now. But yeah, I think it's going to be sweet.
I hope Apollo beats him. I hope he gets angrier and angrier and angrier, and something turns that way. I am interested. We'll see what happens. So after that, we get Carmella and James Ellsworth. I think people are calling it Carsworth.
I don't know.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I don't have much to talk about that other than James helped her in a match. There was a really nice Northern Lights suplex. Oh, Aaliyah. She was in a match against Aaliyah, who's NXT talent. I'm glad that they bring up the NXT people for these kind of matches. It's just kind of a throwaway type match for storyline, especially since I think Aaliyah's good. I don't think she's going to come up anytime soon.
Yeah, she was I was just like, I was like, oh, she's like an NXT student or whatever. So I was like, well, yeah, she's not bad. So
yeah, they just got saturated. Not saturated. I shouldn't say that because there's not tons there, but they got 4 new recruits in the female division. So I can't wait to see what they do. But Aaliyah she's pretty solid. I'm not sure that she's necessarily ready to come up, but she's solid. I can't wait to see her come up. But yeah, we have that saga. We don't know what's going to happen. They're together, but not together type thing.
Yeah,
Carmella seemed not disgusted, annoyed by by him during some of the parts. So I don't know what Carmella's end game is.
Yeah, I wonder what's going on with this whole thing.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's got me interested, but it's still weird. It's still weird because I'm like, wonder what's this is all about.
yeah, exactly. So there's that. There was the Becky Lynch and the Luchadora continuation, which I thought was good.
I liked that. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. Thank you for bringing that back up because they pulled a Texas Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Texas Switch, for those of you who don't know, is a film term, a cinema term, for having 2 people dressed up in the same outfit, and then they used it in what is it, Escape from New York, where that Snake Plissken, for those of you, I'm dating myself talking about Snake Plissken. He's coming down off this wall, and then he drops down, but there's a Humvee in the way, so you don't see him. So a stuntman falls down, and then Kurt Russell gets up and runs out from behind the Humvee. And I'm a huge movie nerd, so. But yeah, they did that where the quote unquote real La Luchador went under the ring, and then Alexa Bliss, dressed up as La Luchador, came up from the other side of the ring. So I was just like, they pulled the Texas Switch. I was like, I like that. I thought that was funny. And then they find out it's Alexa Bliss, and then the other La Luchador comes up and they just beat her up and stuff. It's I want to know who it is. I think you might.
The theory on the street is it's not going to be the person playing La Luchadora right now is not the person who's going to play La Luchadora down the road.
Okay, so it's just
Yeah,
someone.
It was can't pronounce her name. She's an indie wrestler who's actually relatively good. Perazzo is her last name. So right now she's playing that character, and the rumors are that it's going to be Mickie James down the line.
Oh.
That they're waiting for Mickey's health stuff, not health stuff, the doctor stuff to be okay. The checkups, whatever they do, medical stuff. So they're waiting for that, and the talk is that she's going to be the one under the mask, but right now it's Perazzo being that person. But yeah, I like it. I think the storyline's funny. Becky came out as the Luchador, and then it's turned over to be the bad guys thing now, which is pretty funny.
It is, and I liked last week. Was it last week that they did it first, or was it 2? No, it was 2 weeks ago. It was 2 weeks ago. They did the first La Luchador with Becky as La Luchador, and then the week after that, where the quote unquote real La Luchador came out and interfered in Becky and Alexa's match, and they're like, who was that? And and Alexa was like, oh, it was probably Sasha Banks. It's like, oh, that person looks quite a bit big to be Sasha Banks. Oh, it's probably Nia Jax, and then just walked away.
Because it's the two.
I was just like,
yeah, two extremes.
Yeah.
And I think they're probably doing that because that's what I don't know. Maybe they heard that online or whatever on Twitter. Somebody was saying that or something. But that was really funny. You're right.
I just wanted to say that because I thought that was funny.
Yeah. So we go from that storyline, which I'm enjoying. We'll see what happens at the end of that storyline, to the contract signing of Cena and Styles.
Yes.
It was probably my favorite segment of the night. There were a couple interesting things that I caught when I can't remember. I think it was when Daniel Bryan was saying the AJ Styles versus John Cena. It panned to AJ Styles, and he was like saying,
yeah, he was like,
what was that, AJ?
I know.
Like I was like, did he really? He just really mimed or spoke the AJ Styles versus John Cena. I don't know if he's going he's going through the script in his head, and he's just
or if he's I noticed that too. I was like, huh.
Or he's got some kind of OCD that he's got to do this kind of thing.
Like I know a couple people that like a few of my cousins do that where I'm talking and they're kind of like moving their lips as I'm talking, almost like they're trying to guess what I'm thinking. Like, so I guess like that's just a thing people do. I don't know. Like, like quite a few of my cousins do that.
That's really
a couple of my friends I know do that. So
what do you think of the conversation back and forth between AJ?
I thought these guys were great on the mic. Like I thought they did a really, really good job. And yeah, it's even though it's kind of the same old, it still works with AJ, saying like, oh, you're just a part-timer, you only got one foot in the pool type of stuff. And then John Cena saying like, hey, I'm doing all this other stuff, but my heart is still here. And you're the quote-unquote face that runs the place or whatever, now, but like, yeah, it's just really good. They're both doing just such great work on the promos. And even though I thought, because these guys had 3 matches already, I was like, I don't know if I want another one. I'm just like, you know what? Like, their match at SummerSlam was amazing, and so
the triple threat was really good,
and the triple threat at No Mercy was great, and I forgot about that. So 4 matches actually.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, you know what? I'm okay with it because like, Caleb, shut up, just enjoy the awesome wrestling, like kind of thing.
Well, and the reality is, it's probably setting up for the big finish to this is going to be WrestleMania.
I feel like that, like, because like I said last week, I was like, I could see John Cena winning it at Rumble, give him that 16th title reign, and then basically just do what The Rock did to him in 2013, where The Rock beat CM Punk at Royal Rumble for the championship, and then at the championship, The Rock puts Cena over and drops the title to Cena. So it looks like John Cena might be doing the same thing with AJ Styles here,
That could be. That's definitely that's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, because that's only set like 70 days from the Rumble to Mania. It's only like 70 days, so.
There's another theory out there that Adam Lompade posted.
Mm-hmm.
He believes that it's going to be, and like I think there's going to be a double turn. I think at Royal Rumble, Cena will become heel, AJ will become face, and eventually at WrestleMania, Cena will be the champion, and then at WrestleMania, Undertaker will beat Cena for the championship. And I love what he says. What Adam says is, he becomes champion, he puts his glove and the championship in the ring, and that's Undertaker's last thing. Like that would be great. Unless the Undertaker's coming back and actually wrestling, like he said he was going to.
Yeah.
Which he's not going to. WrestleMania is going to define him. He's going to quit at WrestleMania, and I think that would be the perfect opportunity for him to do it. Win the title, put it in the ring, put the gloves in the ring, and leave, and then the title's up for grabs. And how awesome would a tournament be for the world world title.
I think yeah, that would be awesome. That would be a great way to do it because everybody wants Undertaker and Cena at WrestleMania. It's like these guys haven't wrestled since like 2005 or something like that, like against each other because they've mainly been faces ever since then, so they really haven't clashed. So, that's the big money match. That's the WrestleMania match people want before both these guys hang it up. Because Cena is going to turn 40 this year, Undertaker is 52, and so it's like people want this. I mean, I think this is something people want way too much to not do at WrestleMania. So
it may not be the perfect timing. I don't know how agile Undertaker is right now to keep up with Cena, but
yeah, I feel like it's something that the fans want so much that I think this is actually one thing they should give them, that they should do. Two of the all-time greats going at it at WrestleMania, and it'll probably be the main event regardless of of what else, who else is wrestling who on the card. But yeah, I think a double turn at the Royal Rumble would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, and if the rumors are true that they're gonna do another draft and they're gonna bring AJ over to Raw, which would be sad. I would be sad to lose AJ on SmackDown because he's one of the things that has been working for SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
That they bring him over, but if they bring him over, I mean Finn will be back. I assume Samoa Joe will be called up to Raw, and a couple other guys. How awesome would the wrestling be then? So much really good wrestling will happen if and when all that stuff happens. But anyway, back to the comments. Man, AJ said some really great things. He gets 4 months off TV, and now he comes back and he's automatically thrown into it. Like that's what happened.
yeah.
I mean, and I know. In all honesty, AJ understands the business.
Oh yeah.
He understands why they're doing it, and most of the time, the plans are so well mapped nowadays that you give the wrestlers here's the probable trajectory of what your storyline is going to be, that they can take it and be like, okay, great. And there's not as much jockeying behind the scenes as there was in the Attitude Era and prior to that, and even a little bit after that. And so AJ's a businessman. He knows what's best for his brand, which is anything because he's AJ.
Yeah.
He can see it, and so all those things. He said everything that everybody's thinking. What was your thoughts on their conversation outside of that?
Well, I basically kind of already touched on it.
Oh, I guess you did.
But,
Sorry.
No, it's all right. But yeah, like they both had some great barbs. They both brought the fire in it. They both went hard. I talked about this was my runner-up for feud of the year.
Mm-hmm.
When we did our award show last week, and it was pretty good. And even though these guys seem really like by all accounts like they're they've become pretty good buds, it actually seems like their resentment is real. They're both doing a good acting job. They're both doing a great job. Because Cena, he's the golden boy who was WWE's pet project. He was their baby, and they raised him up, and now he's this unbelievable superstar. In the wrestling biz and outside of it. Mm-hmm. And AJ Styles is the guy who busted his butt on the indie scene and couldn't accept a job with WWE back in the day because of family stuff, and he's killed it on the indie scene. He was the face of TNA, even though TNA mistreated him a lot. Mm-hmm. And he went to Ring of Honor and all these little tiny wrestling promotions, and then went to New Japan, and now he's here. And he's like, I'm the champ, I'm in the spotlight, and you're just trying to snatch it up because that's what you do, John. And
every time
it's
he says John,
so good. I know,
John.
Because it sounds just like he just sounds so angry every time he says it. It's killer. And yeah, it's just it's great. Like they do such a great job.
Yeah, it was a good moment. It was fun, and then Baron comes out, which I would love to see that triple threat too.
Mm.
Anybody with AJ, I'll watch. But I would like to see that as well because there's 3 different wrestling styles in that kind of match. But Baron comes out and is like, I'm going to take that title. I'm in the Royal Rumble, and so now we have the first SmackDown Live contender for the Royal Rumble match. And we're slowly building to the 30 men. We only have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 participants right now. And one of the things on Raw when Chris Jericho was, I'm the third. No, sorry, Chris Jericho.
Yeah, all 3 New Days were already.
All 3 New Day members were before you.
Yeah, that was funny. It was funny. He should have said, "I'm the third man," like the NWO Bash at the Beach thing.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Do you get it? Do you get it?" And then Kevin, do you get it? Or something like that.
That'd be funny. So yeah, now we have a couple matches set up for Royal Rumble. We have the Royal Rumble slowly coming. It's 30 man this time.
Yeah, it usually is 30.
They need to do a 41 again.
Yeah, they haven't done a 41 for a while, so they need to. Yeah.
Well, cool. There was only one other thing that, Breezango and American Alpha had a match, and American Alpha made quick work of them, and then the Wyatts are gonna have a match next week. The one thing about this SmackDown, they set up so many matches I can't wait for. That's one of them.
Yeah, because that's next week, right?
Yeah.
That American Alpha Wyatt one. Yeah.
I think Cena and Baron Corbin are gonna.
Yeah, they're having a match next week, so I'm excited for that too.
There was one other match I can't remember.
I think that'll be good. Baron Corbin and Cena. I think that'll be pretty good.
But and then the last thing was Natalya and Nikki.
Yeah, that just seemed so out of place, and it seemed kind of tacked on at the last minute.
I think what they're doing is trying to do the Total Divas. They're trying to.
Okay.
This is the Total Diva moment. This is the segment for the Total Divas, and since they're both on it, they're the only two. I shouldn't say that. Not the only two, because Renee and Maurice are on it too, I think, and a couple others. But they're the only 2 wrestlers that I know of that are still wrestling and on it that I can think of. But so that's just that. I don't mind the feud. It's just kind of catfighty.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting what they did with the Bret Hart thing.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to drive a nail between Bret and Natalya.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Hopefully she was like, "Uncle Bret, hey, we're thinking about doing this. Is that okay?"
Yeah.
You
would hope, but
hopefully.
But yeah, there's so many. Natalya said some good stuff, some very piercing stuff. When your beauty fades, John will leave you.
Oh yeah, that was hard. That was hard.
That was really hard.
Even though it's to get heel heat and all that junk, I was still just kind of like, ugh.
And then even Nikki saying you're the nothing of the Hart family. It's like, oh crap.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
I'm just glad they didn't mention Uncle Owen at all. That could have been bad.
Yeah.
Because
I don't think that they ever will.
Yeah.
After that.
Because they did a thing where they mentioned in Paige and Charlotte's feud, they brought up her brother Reed dying.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I think they learned their lesson.
I hope so.
At least hopefully they did, because that was just, ugh. That was just ill-advised.
So next week on SmackDown Live, here's what I expect.
Okay.
And I think it would be awesome and hilarious. How much time do we have before we switch
over? We got 12 minutes.
Okay, cool. This won't take that long. Switch over, because for some reason, Kayla's computer only can do an hour-long segment, which is fine. It's okay. There's some, curtains pulled back for the one listener. Anyway.
We're breaking radio kayfabe.
Yeah, that's right. I think it would be awesome if they start the show with Renee and Dean acting like The Miz and Maurice. I think that would be beautiful. Because that fits in the line of Dean's personality and Dean's humor. That they come out and they do the entrance like Maurice and The Miz. And they come to the ring and they do that. I think that would be awesome and beautiful. They're not going to do that, but it would be awesome.
Oh my gosh. Okay. We both need to tweet at Dean later and tell him to do that. Oh gosh, that would be hilarious. Because every so often Dean will wear sunglasses, so yeah, he should wear sunglasses, have Renee, on his arm and stuff like that, and have him walk out with.
Because it would be awesome, wouldn't it not?
Yo, that would be great, man.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that would be hilarious.
I honestly can't wait for a program. It's not going to happen, but I can't wait for a program of between Renee and Maurice. Something.
I know. I want something to happen more because she smacked her on this SmackDown. She smacked her backstage, and so yeah, I hope it's building to something between all four of them in the same spot at the same time, even if it's just back and forth talking smack, and then Dean just starts wailing on Miz or something. I hope it leads to something kind of like that where all four of them confront
Yeah.
each other. But yeah, yeah, can't think of anything else.
Well, that was Raw and SmackDown for this past week. Both relatively solid. SmackDown really
Both
good.
pretty good. Next week on Raw we got Undertaker
Which is weird.
coming to Raw. Wonder what that's going to be about. And we have Shawn Michaels coming by too. So
Well, and that makes sense because he's promoting a movie.
He's promoting a movie, but yeah, I'm sure he'll do something. I'm sure he'll sweet chin music. Somebody. I'm sure somebody will come out and he'll probably Kevin Owens. I could see that. Yeah. So he'll probably super kick Kevin Owens and Jericho or something. But yeah, I'm really interested to see what's going to happen there. And
he's going to throw his hat in the ring. He's going to be in that Royal Rumble. Shawn Michaels. I call it now.
That would be awesome. Right? You heard it here. He's calling it.
If I keep saying things that I think are going to happen, they eventually come true anyway.
And what if Undertaker does too? He throws his hat into the Royal Rumble. That'd be nuts. So yeah, I'm super excited to find out what everybody's going to be doing. What their intentions are. So yeah, I can't wait for next week. Got some good old wrestling coming up next week, and this week there's some pretty good. So Jeremy, Raw. Before we jump into our top 10 matches of the year, Raw. Out of 5 Stone Cold Broken Skull IPAs, what would you give it?
I'm gonna give it a safe 3. It was a solid show for 2017. I think it's one of the, like I've already said, it's one of those shows that is kind of a filler show until Royal Rumble. So that's mine. What about you?
I'm gonna give it 3.5. Just because the ending just was such an epic,
really
epic
I give
cap.
that a 4 by itself.
Oh yeah, that for me that ending is at least a 4. But yeah, the show as a whole 3.5, just because I was never bored. I never found myself checking my phone for the time or fast forwarding through stuff, and it was largely entertaining. And the ending just capped off what was an awesome show. It was a great way to end the show. So yeah.
All right, well, SmackDown Live. What about you? 5. Sorry, words. Out of 5 IPAs.
I give SmackDown a 4.
Yeah, me too.
Easily, a 4 easy. It seems like we always give, SmackDown a 4, and Raw a 3 or a 2.5 or something. But yeah, it was a 4, easily a 4, just because of all the stuff it's continuing to do. This one didn't seem as much like a filler show as Raw did, like you were saying. And yeah, it's man, it's just really got me interested to see next week's SmackDown, because like you said, we have some good matches. We have American Alpha and the Wyatt family going at it again, which they did really great last time. And then we got the John Cena Baron Corbin match, which I think will be pretty good. And and we have some we'll see other stuff, that's happening. We'll see storylines progressing and stuff. So yeah, that was Raw and SmackDown this week. Pretty good. Which brings us to the best matches of 2016. 2016 overall was not a good year, but for wrestling, I thought 2016 was a great year.
Yeah. We saw a lot of matches. Obviously, the matches we didn't see are not going to be on this.
Yeah.
They're the ones we didn't watch. So I'm sure people can remind us of those matches. But these are the matches we saw that we were just blown away by. 2016.
And if there's a match that you thought was better than any of the matches we had on here, I don't care. Yep. These are our opinions.
Yeah, and you can only be subjective about so many different things in life, and this is one of those things.
Exactly.
That, I saw a match that I really loved, and Caleb probably hated. So probably relatively similar.
We usually agree in most things.
But I'm sure there is a match that we at some time in life that Caleb enjoyed that I hated. So we'll see.
That's very possible. So, Jeremy, with that, I am going to go ahead and take it away.
Go for it.
All right. Coming in number 10 for my top 10 matches of last year, 2016, I have the Fastlane Triple Threat: Roman Reigns versus Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar. This was the main event at Fastlane. It was really, really good, well paced, had some good spots. I love that it had Roman and Dean teaming up to like powerbomb Brock Lesnar through an announce table and then bury him under stuff, and then start fighting again and going at it in the ring. And then Brock came back, and then they had to put him back through the other table. And then Brock came back and did a double German suplex. I think Roman was doing a Samoan drop on Dean, and then Brock came in and did a German suplex on them and stuff. It had a lot of great stuff. And good storytelling throughout the match of these two brothers, having to face each other and having to take care of Brock Lesnar, and it was really, 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 really good. I liked it a lot. I know Dave Meltzer gave it like 4.5 stars. But other than that, hardly anybody else has talked about it, and I don't know why, because I thought it was really good.
That's one I'm gonna have to go back and watch. I don't remember it as much.
Yeah, I mean, because it's been like 11 months, because it was last February that it happened. But I went back and watched it like a month or two ago, and I was like, this match was really, really good, and a pretty decent finish, a lightning quick finish, and yeah, like even though people booed Roman when he came to the ring, once again at the end of the match, they're like, "Wow, he can wrestle. Okay, we're gonna cheer him and yay, kind of thing." I liked it. I thought it was a really good match, and it was, a match is it leaves a lasting impact on you, and if you see a match and you're still thinking about it 11 months later, then it did something right. That match was good. So, yeah, that's my number 10.
All right, my number 10, and I'm just changing as we speak, little bit more behind the curtains. I did have the women's SmackDown Live Fatal 5-Way because it was really well done. But I loved Asuka versus Mickie James at NXT Takeover Toronto. The fact that Mickie James is back, I didn't watch her. I didn't watch her when she was in the ring, and so I had to go back prior to this match to watch some of the things that she did. And man, she hasn't skipped a beat. That match was really well done. It's great that the outcome is we get Mickie James back. I think the women's division, maybe not necessarily on SmackDown, but the women's division needs a little push right now, and I think she can do it. And so for number 10, for me, number 10 is Asuka versus Mickie James at NXT Takeover Toronto.
Not bad. Yeah, she hasn't missed a beat. She's still good. She's still really pretty too.
She is really pretty.
All right. At number 9, it was hard for me to choose. I almost put the WrestleMania Women's Triple Threat in this match, but then I was like, because I went back and rewatched it. Not that long ago, I went back and rewatched a bunch of matches from WrestleMania, and I was like, man, it's really good, but there's another match that keeps coming to my mind when I watch this match, and it was Charlotte versus Sasha Banks on the November 28th Raw, the Falls Count Anywhere match. I thought that match was a little better.
Yeah, it was their best match by far.
Yeah, and I agree. It just seems like, for some reason, it seems like whenever they were on a pay-per-view, the matches weren't as good. I don't know why that was, but like the first ever women's Hell in a Cell match, for whatever reason, that just fell flat. Yeah. I don't know what it was, but it just fell flat. It just didn't work for whatever reason. And yeah, but this match was epic. I thought it was interesting that they had the two women lose and the other ones, they had the women lose in their own hometown. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But yeah, this match was just better. I thought it was their best match they did, and for me, should have been the end of their feud, but no, they had to take it even further. and further until the feud was basically just ruined for me. So, Jeremy, that was my number 9.
My number 9 is a lot of people's. It's a lot higher in a couple other people's on their lists, but I like the first one better than the second match. But I love the outcome more on this match. Number 9 is DIY versus the Revival at TakeOver Toronto. The match was almost just as epic as their first match. They upped the ante and 2 out of 3 falls. DIY comes out champions. They are my favorite tag team probably ever, which is crazy because I love the Hart Foundation, I love the Steiners, I like Enzo and Cass, but DIY, those two together, those two separate, great guys, and so very entertaining on Twitter. If you don't follow them, go follow them because they are fun and enjoyable to watch. And I'm looking forward to the Revival coming up. I hope they bring them up soon. I don't like them per se as a tag team, but they're fun to watch. And anyway, so my number 9 is DIY versus the Revival.
All right, number 8 for me was Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz at No Mercy, the title versus career Intercontinental match. We talked about this match a lot when we reviewed No Mercy because it was easily match of the night and it was a great match. Both these guys, like I said, they're just made to feud, and they had a really good feud, and I really really enjoyed it. And this match was easily their best one. The Spirit Squad got involved, tried to get it out. You're like, man, is Dolph gonna hang it up? Is he out? Is he retiring and stuff? And then it was entertaining. It wasn't boring. The stakes were high. Both guys, just playing to their roles great. And yeah, just like I was saying, the suspense and the thrilling nature of it just really, really made it a lot of fun to watch. And so, yeah, that was my number 8. I had it. I had a hard time finding a spot to put it in because I just was like, I don't know if I should put it here, here, here. But then I was like, number 8 seems like a good spot because of all the other ones in there. But so, yeah, that was my number 8. Jeremy?
My number 8 is a lot of people who enjoy wrestling. It's higher, but I wasn't as sold on the match as everybody else. And my number 8 is Zayn versus Nakamura at NXT TakeOver Dallas. It was arguably the best match of the night, and a lot of people like it a lot more. But you can watch that and enjoy all the hits and the wrestling that happened in there. And so, yeah, Zayn versus Nakamura is my number 8.
All right. And at my number 7, I also have Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn at NXT TakeOver Dallas. I didn't really watch. I still really don't watch NXT. I watch it when you tell me I need to watch something like at TakeOver Toronto. You told me to watch Mickie James versus Asuka and watch the DIY versus the Revival and stuff. And this is one match you told me to go back and watch. You were like, yeah, NXT TakeOver Dallas, Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Go watch that. And I was like, tell me what to do. But then I watched it and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, it was a great match. It was really awesome. I like Shinsuke Nakamura a lot. I love Sami Zayn. And, they put on one heck of a show. I mean, it was really, really good. Like, even though was it at a smaller venue, I think? Or
yeah, it was a smaller venue since,
it didn't matter. It seemed like there was 80,000 people there because they were just on their feet going nuts. It was awesome.
Yeah, and it was Zayn's, coming up into the main roster match. And those matches are usually the best matches for NXT to watch because you have these two guys, one who's going to be taking over the face of NXT and really, really high up in there. And then you have Zayn, or you have the guy who's coming up into the main roster. So definitely. But my number 7 is two guys who are a joy to watch, a joy to follow on Twitter, and the storytelling in this match was beautiful. The ending is my favorite ending of any match of the year. And so in 2016, my number 7 match is Gargano versus Ciampa in the CWC first round. The storytelling was beautiful. You had two guys who wanted to continue on in the Cruiserweight Classic, just giving it their all. And when Gargano wins, the sit-down hug in the middle of the ring chokes me up every time I think about it. That's something in wrestling that we don't see very often.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see, we don't see those moments. I don't know if Vince doesn't like emotion like that or what. I mean, this wasn't Vince's product, so I mean, it is, but it's not, his baby. They pass it on to Triple H, and we've seen times in Triple H's career where he got emotional when Razor and Diesel go to WCW, and so this was beautiful, beautiful match, beautiful ending, and so that's why it's my number 7.
All right, moving on to number 6. I have match of the night at WrestleMania 32, the 7-man Intercontinental Championship ladder match. This was one of the best matches of the year. Like I said, it was match of the night at WrestleMania 32. Kevin Owens, Zack Ryder, Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, Stardust, The Miz, and Sin Cara all put on a show. They all did a great job. I've rewatched this about once since April, since it was on. I've watched this about like once every other month since then. Like I was just like, I need to go
Rightfully
back.
So.
I need to go back and watch that. Just like it's fast paced, a lot of great spots. Kevin Owens falling,
and dying,
and dying basically. Zack Ryder winning it, was awesome.
Woo woo woo.
Woo woo indeed. Get well, my brother.
Right.
Sami Zayn, jumping through the ropes, jumping through the ladder, doing flippy stuff all over, just awesome. Dolph Ziggler doing what he do. And Cody Rhodes having to do the stupid Stardust gimmick that he hated, and The Miz being the best heel in the company right now, and Sin Cara existing.
He wasn't too bad.
And he was actually pretty decent in this. I'm not gonna lie, he did good. He did good in this. But yeah, it was great. Like we were just in awe when we saw this match. It was just amazing. Like it was great. And so yeah, that was my number 6. Just go watch this match. Just go watch it. Like even though there are other matches that are better this year, I feel like this one is probably the most fun to watch. So definitely go back and watch this match.
Yep. My number 6, and I just switched it because I just realized that I was dumb not to put this. Anyway, doesn't matter. I switched it from what it was. My number 6 match is Alexa Bliss versus Bayley, NXT in July. It was just a fun women's match to watch. It made me. This is the match that made me realize Alexa Bliss is something special. Even though she's, as far as wrestling, her program with Becky isn't as fluid as it should be. It proved to me that Alexa has the absolute character to be in the WWE. It proves to me that she has the skill and the possibility to be a champion, and she is champion, and rightfully so in my opinion. And so, for my number 6, Alexa Bliss versus Bayley, NXT in July.
All right, cool. Number 5, I had this match higher up on my list, but there was just other matches I liked better and stuff. Like this was almost my number 3, but now it's my number 5. It was Kota Ibushi versus Cedric Alexander, CWC round 2. I think the only bad thing about this match was that there really wasn't much storyline involved. But with that being said, I was still invested in the match and cared about what was happening. And that's why I kind of moved it down a little. I was like, the storyline with all these other ones is just a little better and stuff. But it doesn't matter. It's in the top 5. Yep. Kota Ibushi versus Cedric Alexander. Like, these guys just... I don't know if they knew each other before this match or anything, but like they just went out there and just put on the greatest showcase of pure athletic splendor I have probably ever seen in terms of pro wrestling. Like, it was amazing. Go back and watch it. It was from the second round of the Cruiserweight Classic. Like, it was amazing. It makes me glad that Cedric Alexander is in the WWE and makes me wish that Kota Ibushi would sign a contract with WWE, because he's kind of like a gun for hire. He just goes around and does wrestling shows all over, and I know he's made appearances in NXT.
Yeah.
Since then,
yep.
Ibushi has. So
probably just fulfilling contract stuff. that he had signed.
Like I really, really like him. I wasn't really familiar with him because I really wasn't familiar with a whole lot of New Japan guys. Because that's where he really made it famous. Made it big. where he got famous.
Made it famous.
Well, that's my catchphrase now.
Yep.
But yeah. All right, yeah. I guess we need to start making shirts now.
Yep.
Made it famous. Yeah. That was my.
Because your shirt would be made it famous. It's be talking about the shirt. Made it famous. This shirt. I made this shirt famous.
Yeah. Made it famous. Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, that's
copyrighted, as you can see.
That's my number 5.
Right on. My number 5, and I could go back and watch this match because the reason why this match is on my list is because of the close falls. I'm a huge fan of the almost falls, and so
me too.
Number 5 on my list is the Revival versus DIY at NXT Takeover Brooklyn 2. I think it's a better match. I know that the second match at Toronto, it was bigger, not really bigger stakes, but it was a bigger match. This was just a better match in my opinion because of the close falls, the emotion at the end. Even though the emotion at the end of Toronto was really good, I can still see Gargano's face not wanting to give up and being so close to the ropes that he could almost grab them, but they had told a story of him getting hurt before at NXT, and so to see him in pain and that story develop into I've got to tap out, otherwise I can't do this again. I can't wrestle anymore. For me, it was just a better story, and so for me, that's my fifth favorite match.
Right on, brother. For me, coming in at number 4 is a match that you and I, one of 2 matches you and I just were absolutely crazy for. It was Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles at Extreme Rules in an Extreme Rules match. I mean, what else could we say? We've been singing the praises of these 2 matches all year. At the time, definitely match of the year candidates, and still are. Like, I still think it was one of the best matches of the year, and even the Roman Reigns detractors were just like, okay, this match was really good. And it just proved that AJ Styles is the best wrestler ever. And, it was just great, and this match, the one at Payback was great too, but this one just, the pace was a little better, the finish was way more epic, spearing him out of midair and all that, and, had the Seth Rollins returning, at the end of it, stuff like that, which was nuts, and so, yeah, that for me was number 4, I absolutely just, I liked this match a lot, I just really did.
My number 4 is also an AJ Styles match. It is the triple threat match at No Mercy, Ambrose, Cena, Styles. This match went on first because of the whole presidential stuff that was going on at the time. I believe it was the
debate.
Debate was like the final debate or something like that.
Or the second.
Or the second one.
I can't remember.
One of the debates, and so they opted to put this match first, and this match stole the whole show, even though No Mercy was the best pay-per-view out of all of them. Of the year, Ambrose, Cena, Styles. When we first started this podcast, I didn't really care for Cena, but it's matches like this that make me realize that Cena is not as bad as I think he is. I like Dean Ambrose. I like him as a character, but I'm not enthralled in his wrestling. I think it's just the same stuff over and over again, which is fine. It's safe. He makes a paycheck. Cool. But he was outstanding in this match. Cena was outstanding in this match. And Styles was outstanding in the match. Every bit of it fun to watch. And it's one of those matches on this list that I would go back and watch probably as much as you would watch the Intercontinental match. It's just a great match. It was a fun, great match. So for me, that was number 4.
Okay. Coming in at number 3, I have a tie.
What?
The only tie.
Okay.
The only tie on my list.
Fair enough.
I couldn't leave one of these matches off, and they both involve this one guy, or 2 of the same guys. You'll find out. I just couldn't leave one of these off, and I was like, I need to put one of these at number 3. Well, maybe I could put one of them, and I was like, no, I just need to put these both at number 3. It'll be my only tie, so I'll allow it. And I think Jeremy won't care. It's the only tie I have. The first is also the No Mercy Triple Threat. I have that tied for number 3 for all the reasons you just said. All 3 guys pulled out all the stops and really put on a really, really great show. And the fact that it went on first is just insane. I was like, awesome. We don't have to wait for it. Just get to see it first. Yep. And, it was really great. All 3 guys did a good job. And, everything you said was great. No Mercy was the best pay-per-view, best event this year, I think. And then also tied at number 3, I have AJ Styles versus John Cena at SummerSlam. Just amazing. Just amazing. I've gone back and watched this match even more times probably than the latter match, just because for whatever reason I watch it, I'm like, that was awesome, and then like a month later I'm like, I forgot all about that match, I need to watch it again. And then I watch it, I'm like, that was awesome. Next month I'm like, I forgot everything about that match except the very, very last finish. I need to go back and watch it. Like it's just it's a great match. Both these are great, and since they both involved AJ Styles and John Cena, I figured I'd put them at 3 for the tie. And it was just hard to choose. So I was like, screw it, tie.
So, that's your prerogative.
And
do what you want to do.
Exactly. I do. I won't. Pardon me. So that's my number 3.
All right. Well, my number 3 was I think your number 7. The Intercontinental title ladder match at WrestleMania. The best match on the card. The best match. I'm not gonna say all year because obviously it's not in mine, but it's one of those matches that, like you said, you could go watch over and over and over again because the wrestling is good, the stunts are amazing. You think Kevin Owens has died? Sami Zayn, it's what I think it's what solidified Sami Zayn in my mind as one of the best wrestlers they have going right now.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff that he does, the stuff that he could do, and all those other guys that was in there that were in there. The Miz, you thought the Miz was going to win, and then Zack Ryder winning. It's like, man, I love Zack Ryder. I love watching him wrestle, and for him to win. And the sad thing, the next day he loses it.
Yeah, he lost it on Raw. That was ridiculous.
Which is sad, but that's okay. But still, it is a match that I think we could all go watch, at least once a year because it's an amazing match, amazing spots, just enjoyable to watch. So that is my number 3, the Intercontinental title ladder match.
Okay. And coming in at my number 2 match for the 3rd straight spot, I have AJ Styles in a match. Had him at number 4, had him in the 2 number 3s, and now number 2 is this is my curveball, Jeremy. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura at Wrestle Kingdom 10. This was at the January 4 Tokyo Dome show, which is now called Wrestle Kingdom. I saw this match about a few months after AJ first debuted. I think it was probably like around the time of WrestleMania, I think. I went back and watched this match. It was on YouTube, and I was like, holy crap, both these guys are in WWE now? Awesome.
Yep.
And then I watched it again over the summer, and I was like, dang, like I just could watch this again and again. And then watched it again last week because I was like, I need to put it in my top 10. I need to go back and watch it, and because, it's the only non-WWE match in here, but I mean, yeah, you need to go watch it too, man, because it's amazing. And I was like, I feel like kind of a wrestling hipster putting it on here, but I mean, it was just too good not to put on here, and I really, really liked it, and I wanted to spice it up a little, so I was like, yeah, little side of New Japan like on there,
Right.
So yeah, it was great, and the fact that we have both these guys in WWE now is amazing. So that was my number 2.
My number 2, if you could consider anything a curveball on this list, I guess it would be the second curveball because the Bliss Bayley match is kind of a curveball. Anyway, my second favorite match of the year was the Neville Finn Balor match in March of this past year at NXT. I started watching the show, way back when, and I didn't. As I'm watching this episode, I'm thinking, hey, there's gonna be more wrestling. This whole show was this match. The whole show was. I'm pretty sure the whole show. My memory is right. Neville versus Finn Balor was this whole show, and there were some spots. It solidified Neville in my mind as one of the best wrestlers, best high flyers of all time, and Finn Balor as one of the better characters in the WWE. So for me, number 2, Neville and Finn Balor, and I'd go back and watch that match too. It's a really good match.
Right on. And you already know my number 1 if you watched our show last week. Number 1 was Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens at Battleground. It was just the storytelling in this match, like we talked about, was amazing, and just there were parts in this match that just were heartbreaking and just were such great, character acting by them. Like when he does the haluva kick, he picks up Kevin Owens' lifeless body, and he's like, you know what? I'm tired of your crap.
Yeah.
I'm tired of all this. I'm going to do to you what you would do to me. It's time to end this. And then he just gives him another haluva kick, and it's just...
It's over.
It's over. It's done. This match was amazing.
Yeah.
For me, it was the best match of the year for all the reasons I just mentioned. The action was thrilling. Storytelling was spectacular. Both these guys are 2 of the best guys on the roster. Sami Zayn was my pick for best high-flying wrestler and breakout star of the year. And this match proves it. Kevin Owens is one of the best heels in the company. He's great on the mic. He's no slouch in the ring at all. Mm-hmm. And this match just perfectly exemplifies, why I liked wrestling as a kid and why I got back into wrestling now. Just because of the character acting, the commitment to their characters, the commitment to their craft, and putting on a great show for that the fans could get into. And that it was match of the night at Battleground by far, and easily for me the match of the year.
My match of the year for 2016 was Cedric Alexander versus Kota Ibushi, the Cruiserweight Classic second round. Everything that you said and so much more. The pace, and I know you can't say storytelling in this, but through the moves, there's storytelling. The faces that Cedric made, the fact that everybody wanted, the WWE to sign Cedric Alexander because of the show he put on. It was a great match that I wanted to sit down and watch that match before we did this, but I didn't get a chance to. It's just a great match. It's a fundamentally sound, fun, high flying, back breaking, stiff punching match, and they set the bar high for the cruiserweights, and they set the bar high for all the WWE. Bring it, WWE, because Cedric Alexander is, at least.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my number 1 match of the year.
Cool. Yeah, some great wrestling matches. Any honorable mentions that you can think of? Or
I had some, but now I'm out of it. Let me see.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. Honorable mentions, Mustafa Ali versus Lince Dorado in the CWC. Mustafa Ali is becoming one of my favorite wrestlers in the WWE right now. I like his character. I like him on Twitter because he's making comments. People confuse him and another guy on the roster because they look different than everybody else because they're Middle Eastern looking, and so I really like him. I like his wrestling. I like his hitting, and his character is just really, really good. And I actually do like Lince Dorado. I think he's underappreciated. So that's one of them. Cedric Alexander versus Cien Almas. That guy is going to come up pretty soon, I think, too. He's really... heel Cien Almas is really fun to watch. And then just a wild card wild chance of seeing it. I wanted to check out a couple matches from the WCPW. And I saw this match. It's El Ligero versus Pete Dunne. We're going to see Pete Dunne in the UK tournament.
Cool.
But we're not going to see El Ligero, which is too bad because he's one of my favorite non-WWE wrestlers. He's so fun to watch. It's going to be fun to see what he does in the future. But like I said, we get to see Pete Dunne, who's an interesting wrestler in the UK, which I'm stoked about. Anyway.
Yeah.
Those are my my honorable mentions. You had
cool.
some that I was like, yes, I should have put that on there. Yes, I should have put that on there.
Yeah, I had a couple. The WrestleMania Women's Triple Threat, like I talked about, that's an honorable mention. Gargano versus Ciampa, CWC, that was an honorable mention for me. The Men's Survivor Series, elimination match. That was really great. That was almost my number 10.
Yeah.
That was probably my number 11 just because that match was wicked. It was just really, 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 really good. Finn Balor and Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. That one was really good. I liked it quite a bit. There was just a lot of really good ones that I almost put on here. But yeah, so that's some of mine. Yes, some of my honorable mentions. There's probably one or two others I can't can't really think of, but yeah, that was it. So overall, some great wrestling matches. If you love wrestling, you you want to be entertained, some good mindless fun. Watch these wrestling matches. Some good stuff to happen. Good stuff to see, rather, and a lot's going to happen. I mashed those two sentences, and a lot more is going to happen this year. I'm sure we'll have some great, good old stuff because we still have all the same guys, and so really excited.
Rumble's coming up. Can't wait to see what happens there. So many different things. The road to WrestleMania essentially starts now, really. And so we'll see. Hopefully this year's WrestleMania will be 1,000 times better than last year's WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It just kind of fizzled out after a couple matches.
Yeah, it did, which is too bad. I just hope it's not. I hope WrestleMania doesn't seem as overblown.
Yeah.
As last year. Because even though it was cool, the atmosphere was wicked. It was just like, it's a little overblown. Just a little. Well. That was episode 25 of WWPWW. Yeah, we're in the new year, man. Awesome. Hard to believe we've been doing this since July, isn't it?
It is.
It's crazy, and now here it is. It's January.
I'm a year into rewatching wrestling. You don't have Royal Rumble. It'll be
it was at the Royal Rumble that I signed up for the network. Sign up now, just $9.99 for the all these WWE pay-per-views, all these WCW pay-per-views, all the every single WCW, every single ECW, every single Nitro.
Thunder. Put Thunder on the channel, man.
Yeah, why wouldn't they put Thursday Night Thunder on there? Yeah.
They need to, because anyway. we've run a long time, so.
We have. So I thought that was a pretty good edition of the podcast. That was a lot of fun. Next week we'll be back with Raw and SmackDown recaps and talk about the return of Shawn Michaels and return of The Undertaker to Monday Night Raw. And I'm sure there will be more news about the Royal Rumble, which we can discuss. And have some pretty good matches to look forward to on SmackDown. Right. So yeah, the Royal Rumble is 3 weeks away. Cannot wait, man. That's gonna be wicked. That's my favorite pay-per-view, and I think it'll be awesome. So, thank you for stopping by, wrestling fans, for episode 25. I'm Jeremy.
Nope. You're not.
I was hoping you would say I'm Caleb.
No, Mick, you are not in.
I was hoping you would say, and I'm Caleb, but
sorry.
you didn't.
I suck.
It's okay. Okay, it's all right. We'll just do it.
You do it again.
All right. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Caleb.
We got you, you filthy marks. All right. Peace. I even stole your name and I stole your catchphrase.
I can tell this isn't scripted, so.
Yeah, you can tell it's not. All right. Well, see you guys.
Peace.